Let's get the show started. Should be streaming now. It says we're on.
Yay, good.
What's happening?
Hey.
So we're going to look at the camera. Just want to make sure you guys are here. It's Mike and Deanna Mutzel. Thanks so much as always for tuning back in to another live session. Monday afternoon here, Metabolic Monday. Who's been doing Metabolic Monday? You have? That's
you?
what we're here to talk about. No,
I
neither one of us have had any food today. So building muscle, eating one meal a day. Now, if you would have told me a year ago that you were doing this, you or anyone else, I would have said, give me a break. There's no way this is even possible. Totally. But Deanna's been doing this for the past 90 days. And we just had dinner with great friends that we hadn't seen in, I don't know, maybe 2.5 months. And what'd they say to you?
They just noticed, not only me, but you, they just said skin looked different, leaner generally. Like we've been pretty lean, since I've known you, since you've known me, but really like more muscular, but lean. And more vibrant and more focused, like laser focused. So just so many different benefits. And yeah, and I've noticed absolutely too.
All right, we got people on. Cool.
So
just checking the feed, guys. So you might need to come in just a hair. So Deanna's been eating one meal a day. Hey guys, here from Florida. This is live stream. Yeah, we are here. Sorry for the small delay. Sometimes like when we do peak times right now, we're doing 5 Pacific Standard. And everyone's on their Wi-Fi. They're getting home from work and all that. So there were some bandwidth issues. So that's why we're having a small delay. So Deanna's noticed, and she's been telling me, like, Mike, my workouts are good. Like, everything is great. I'm just doing one meal a day. But your feeding window. So I think this is because a lot of people have questions about this. And I think it's the cool thing, what's unique about this, guys, is you need to be able to modify this to your diet, your lifestyle, your exercise plan, your goals, right? Just because someone does one thing doesn't mean you need to do it exactly that same way. Exactly. And so, Deanna, you've been doing basically one meal a day, but your feeding window is spread out for a little bit. Do you want to kind of talk about that?
So one meal, it's pretty hefty. So I'm eating over generally like a 2-hour period. So I decided around maybe like 6 or 7, 8 weeks ago, I was just going to do it. So I typically do the guinea pig thing where I'm going to try it. If I don't feel good, legitimately, I'm going to stop doing it. But I've been pretty healthy, thyroid, hormones, etc. So I thought, why not? I'm going to try this, see what it's all about, and see what happens with my performance in the gym. And so I have to say over like 2 weeks, I had maybe a little bit of brain fog, wasn't sure. But initially, but then after, and I was keto adapted going into it, pretty much, I would say. So I was eating kind of low glycemic beforehand. My meals have been pretty low glycemic with a little bit of carb cycling, which I'm doing a guide for. But I feel great and I'm super laser focused. You'd think I'd be super hungry, but I'm not. When I'm preparing meals, I have to say, like, the meal prep's been huge for us, but just making sure that when I am eating during that 2-hour window, that I am having like very nutrient dense food, extremely nutrient dense food. Even if it's like dessert, there's like cardamom in there, there's raw cacao nibs, there is like bee pollen, there's like I'm really thoughtfully preparing this food, making sure I get the magnesium, the potassium through Brazil nuts and real food, raw nuts, activated nuts and seeds. So this is what the guide is all about. So it's an art. You have to know what you're doing. You have to make sure that and also dining. We've been dining more and nourishing our bodies and chewing our food. And I would say like
your food.
Chewing. Imagine that, not in the car. And being present, mindful. I'm not killing it with cardio. I think the biggest thing is the resistance training and, getting some still, a little fasted, easy cardio jog, walk in the morning. But my energy's great. And so, yeah, I can't believe I never thought in a million years that I would be fine with this. I thought, like, I'm just so active. How would I get through? I'd feel faint, foggy brain. And it's nothing like that, you guys. It's just something's happening with my body. I feel like I haven't had my growth hormone tested, but I think it's really, my growth hormone's really boosting right now. And I'm in my 40s and people have like accused me of having like filler and all this Botox, which I've done in the past. Like, trust me, I've done that. And I'm trying to do all 100% natural, but like, this is me. My skin's just changing, and I want to be honest with you. Like, it's been all nutrition and the Joovv Light, and supplements. Like I'm really trying to help you go through what I'm going through. It's just been like the most amazing experience. So yeah, and especially with the brain, like that's the most important thing is just my focus with work, and I just I'm more easier to adapt with stress, and there's just so many benefits. So anyway, that's my experience so far. I'm loving it, and if my window expands on one day, I'm not going to freak out. It's okay. But for now, it's been about 2 hours. Like, so I'm doing basically around a 23 hour fast every single day. Mm-hmm. There you have it.
Do you ever do the longer fasts? You've been.
I haven't. I haven't because I'm pretty lean right now. I mean, if I were going to do it, it would be just more for longevity and autophagy. And so we do plan to do a 3-day, and I think it'll be a lot easier now that I've done, the consistent 23 hour fasts. I'll go ahead and do a 3. I'm not going to go crazy and do like a 5. I'll start with 3, maybe quarterly. And, but that will be just for like detox. I have cancer in my family. And so just want to kind of make sure I'm doing everything I can to, make sure I'm detoxing any bad cells if there are any. So
and affecting the hormones.
Yeah. Hormones.
So friends, what I have here right in the middle of the screen here is the overview of growth hormone signaling in the context of fasting. And I think this is important because this is where a lot of the benefits can be garnered, and that's why I think Deanna's and people are commenting, I think your skin does look a lot better. Not that it looked bad before or anything along those lines, but I feel like, and your do you want to show your chest, the chiselness?
I can. And you know what? Like the one thing I've noticed too is like I've lost some weight in my face, and my eyes feel a little hollow. But besides that, like maybe my growth hormone will help that collagen produce that. But I'm not worried. But yeah, I just literally like
you have to show on the screen. You can just move
I've always
forward.
been pretty muscular.
You might need to stand up a little bit.
Whoa, there you go. Sorry, I'm not here to like flex and be weird, but
you can't see it. Sorry, we can't. Never mind. It's not working.
Yeah, but like my muscles I'm stronger than I've ever, even though I'm leaner than I've been in a while. I'm hitting PRs at the gym with squats, with my deadlifts, with chest press, bench press, shoulder press. Like I'm really surprising myself. I thought I'd be weak and tired, so I'm full on working out. Nothing has changed. I'm not like sitting at home on the couch because I'm fasting. I am just carrying on my day, and I'm super active. I'm a chiropractor, going in office, seeing patients, and I don't have food on my mind. Like not at all. Not even when I'm preparing food. Mike made a comment. I was just doing some meal prep before I got on here, and Mike's like, how can you be around that? And I just said, I don't know. Like I just don't have the urge to eat right now. And I will be hungry around 6, but it's not like I'm famished and starving. You know
what's so funny? I don't want to interrupt, but everyone is so different. So Deanna can sit there and cook in the kitchen and make all this food, and I like seafood. I'm like, dude, I'm hungry as hell. Like, how can you be around the food, right? So I think it's really unique. Like at this point, having been married for 9 years, our microbiome is probably shared. We eat pretty much the same food, go to bed pretty much at the same time. We do a lot of different, a lot of the same stuff, but clearly our physiology is so different, right? So I think the important thing, guys, is everyone is so unique, right? So it's like, listen to this video with a grain of salt, listen to the other guru's video with a grain of salt, and try to customize things. I personally, I've done the 1 meal a day. I've done a lot of fasting. Like last year, I was doing way more fasting than I do now. Now it's a little bit more regimented. I would say every Monday is at least a 24-hour fast. Every quarter, I do a 3-day fast, things like that. Mm-hmm. But last year, what did you notice with me doing a lot of fasting?
You got really skinny, Mike. He's got an amazing ass. Sorry, I can say that I'm Canadian, and it just was kind of decreasing. It was just going down.
You need to come in closer.
I was just like, maybe you shouldn't be fasting as much because you're just losing muscle. Because Mike's got really, you have really good muscle definition and a lot more muscle than I have. So that's probably why you get hungrier than I do. But I just noticed you got really thin, more, I guess, irritable. Like you just didn't seem as you seemed a bit more irritable. You had more fine lines. Yeah,
wrinkles.
More wrinkles. And now
isn't
your
that weird that
glowing.
I was like fasting more? So the point is here, friends, is there's so many different ways to go about this. I mean, I wish there was one way to do this, but it's not, and it changes with time. And so I think it's just really, really, so Deanna and I have two totally different perspectives on this. Am I going to go down to one meal a day? Probably not. Although I do that when I'm traveling because I'm not as active. Like I'm not doing my morning walks. I'm not doing farm duties around the house with pigs and cutting wood and doing all the stuff that I normally do, not walking my daughter to school, not lifting as heavy. So in that context, the one meal a day is easy. It's convenient, right? But when I'm doing all that and trying to maintain and build muscle, it's hard just for me personally to get the amount of food that I need.
Right.
But I'm also, you're what, 120 some?
Like 120. But you have to keep in mind too, like I'm not counting macros. A lot of people ask me that. I'm eating quite a bit of protein, but I'm not obsessed about it. I'm eating a lot of vegetables, getting the vegetables in, good fats, but not overdoing it. Just drizzling olive oil and good dressings on my salad. I'm probably, I would have salad? To guess.
Dude, she's not even a carnivore?
I'd probably have to guess I'm maybe having 1,600, maybe, I don't know, anywhere between like 1,300 to 1,600 calories within a 2-hour period. I'm digesting it fine because I'm chewing. And I was worried about that. I'm like, how will I feel the next morning if I'm eating all this food? Will I be bloated? Will I have a hard time digesting? No, it's been easy. And I have to say, like, my food choices are so much better. Like, I had this weird craving for Quest bars back in the day.
Yes.
And now that I know that I have like just about 2 hours, it's all only real good nutrient dense food in season. Organic.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. So.
I think there's a lot of upsides, obviously, metabolically, hormonally, from a longevity perspective, autophagy and all that, to having that metabolic flexibility to be able to only eat once a day. Tab Furchow, a buddy of ours who's been on the podcast before, CEO of Free Fly Systems, they make great gimbals and things like that. We have the little Movi. For a long time, he was just having one T-bone steak or a ribeye, basically a day. That was his meal, and he was doing great. I'm pretty sure he still does that, but a lot of people just have their own little perspective. But the thing is, enhancing the resiliency. You brought up a really good point earlier, and so here's a slide. And thanks for letting me know that I was out of focus. I was the trouble with doing just as a little side note, when you have one camera and you have two people, is if our faces are not like exactly on the same plane, then one of us will be out of focus. So anyway, we lose, as all animals, humans, nematodes, flies, bugs, we lose resiliency as we age. And so right here, what you see is a screenshot of that being depicted. And so what's unique about fasting, cold thermogenesis, exercise, all these different things, friends, even meditation, is it's enabling you, it's helping to prevent that age-associated decline in resiliency. And so that's what's kind of cool about this. So this is a little slide, Deanna, you haven't seen it yet. That basically shows, it went away. That basically shows that as we age, we kind of lose resiliency. So kind of to summarize what we've talked about up to now, everyone has a unique approach, what works for them. Don't be scared. So the cool thing about what Deanna does, I think you're better at this than me, is trying these different things without having a bias, about what will or won't happen. For me, I was always like, I'm going to lose muscle because I've been reading bodybuilding magazines and books since I was like 14 years old. So I just have that inked in my head. So I'm a little bit tend to not deviate too much from traditional stuff until I get enough evidence. That's just me personally, right? Like even with the ketogenic diet, I thought, oh, here we go again. Just another fad. Don't people know about metabolic endotoxemia? Deanna, really, you were the one that, in addition to David Jockers and who else?
Stephanie Pearson.
Hoffmeyer, Rory, Eat Stop Eat. What's his name?
Oh, Brad Pillen?
Brad Pillen. There's another guy, Ori Hoffmaker or something like that. Yeah,
on the Warrior Diet. I kind of was just, I don't even know how I got into it, but I went full throttle. 5 years ago. I was raw vegan for a year. I've done it all. I've been like way too thin. I've lost muscle, and I'm like, okay, well, thankfully it didn't cause any kind of not weird, but just a disorder where I couldn't get over it. I just, I was aware, I saw it. I didn't feel good, so I just made a change, right? And
with the vegan? Really?
Yeah, but I kind of cherry picked, as Darren Efferding would say. I love that because I really do cherry pick from, vegan, all that sort of thing. And I still implement a lot of that into our current nutrition and cooking.
I think it's a good approach.
Yeah, and just to kind of see what fits us, and it can be seasonal the way we eat too. So yeah, we don't count macros, but we have very good gut diversity.
We think, we hope.
No, I think we really do.
There's a lot of questions here. So Someone's saying it's focused on the background. Both of you are out of focus, but it's okay. What's up with that? So, Deanna, why don't you share a story while I fix the focus?
Well, I'm just going to make another point about the resilience. It has really, I've always had pretty good resilience, but it has made me a lot stronger.
There we go. We should be in focus now.
In so many ways, with resilience. And I think that when you're forced to like kind of go an extended time without eating, because a lot of people use food as an emotional kind of like band-aid for what could be going on deeper. And I'm sure we all have a little bit of that from our history.
I've never done that,
ever. It forces you to deal with the problems instead of just eating. If you get bored or whatnot, you're like, why am I bored? Or why am I feeling down? Or is it because of the weather? You're not like eating food because that. You can go like hit your dopamine levels with something else like a massage or just a walk or some sunlight or different things that are healthier. Friends.
It's such a great point. So food is like a form of self-medication, right? So we blame alcohol and drugs and porn and gambling and video games and even and cell phone addiction and all that. But, a lot of us, we have a food addiction and we don't even know it, Yeah. I know myself, like I wouldn't say I had a food addiction, but I would say there was times where I would use food as like an emotional support system or Band-Aid, right? And so would overeat certain things, crave certain things. And that's a benefit of fasting, is like Deanna said. And this is another thing I never really thought about until you brought it up, is it forces you to like acknowledge and recognize those emotions so that you can make changes and realize like, wow, I had a pretty messed up relationship with food. I was using cookies because, I was eating cookies or binging or whatever when I should have been dealing with the fact that I'm lonely and I need to like change this one thing in my life and maybe not be so shy or reach out to that person that I see all the time that I'm too scared to talk to, or whatever it is, like get out of that bad job. You start to realize what's going on. And I think if you just go through the motions of eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks and dessert, you're never going to experience that. So.
Right. I agree.
I think it's really unique. So we're getting a ton of questions here, friends, and thank you so much for being here. I haven't yet said this, but if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like button. This is the first live we've had. So how we started this YouTube channel was a combination of me interviewing people. Then every Saturday morning, Deanna and I would hop on and do a YouTube live. And we realized that our daughter was growing very fast. She's now 6 years old. She'll be 7 very soon. And we were like, we are giving up, as great as it was to be here with you all. We love our daughter very, very much. And so we decided to not do the Saturday morning lives. But a lot of you, thanks to you, have commented. You're like, you want Deanna back. You need more female influence and everything like that. So here we are. So there was a lot of questions that that are coming in. Mark had a great point. Mark says food is dopamine. Yes, sugar, food, all that. It does stimulate those dopamine reward systems.
It does.
Amazing point there. Yeah. Someone says, hey, Mike, have you tried dry fasting? So dry fasting meaning no water, nothing. Generally, I don't recommend that. Water doesn't affect autophagy. Like just because, maybe if you're severely dehydrated, it might affect autophagy in one way or another. But, and just a small plug for upcoming Autophagy Enhancer Masterclass, friends. It starts tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to review the hormonal and nutritional influences that affect autophagy. So thyroid hormone, testosterone, estrogen, all these hormones, guess what? They influence autophagy. So it's very important not just to focus on mTOR and the glucose to insulin ratios and ketone ratios and all that. Those are important, but there's a lot of other influencers that enhance autophagy. Even exercise, we're going to talk about, and oxygen and cold stress. We're going to talk about that. So a small plug, guys, that starts tomorrow. Registration closes 5 p.m. this time tomorrow. We're going to be on another live call diving into the science. So click the link below if you want to dive into that. So the question, getting back to the question, I got sidetracked, was about, dry fasting. Would you do fasting without water?
Depends how long, right?
It's like saying, would you do CrossFit on a ketogenic diet? You could. Yeah. Like you could do it, but you're probably not going to have the best workout. So just omitting water during a fast,
it makes it so much easier.
You're trying to be a hero. Why would you want to be a hero, right? Yeah. Like it's like, why would you want to do a powerlifting competition on an empty stomach?
Plus, you might need some salt. I definitely, if I'm feeling a bit off, I put a little bit of real Redmond salt on my tongue, and bam, That's all I need. Because especially if you're doing sauna therapy and so forth, or you're sweating, you're working out, you definitely want to replenish with I usually do like electrolytes during dinner time, during my meal, because I think taking them during the fast would kind of break the fast. But having salt and green tea, and those are you really appreciate those things when you're fasting, because they keep you full. It's something to do if you're just kind of sitting around working. And plus there's so many great benefits to like the polyphenols, et cetera, in the green tea and all that good
and the
stuff.
Electrolytes and the salt and everything like that.
Yeah,
So long story short, I know this is popping up, and I don't know where it's coming up on the internet, because a lot of people do have this very same question. So I don't see any evidence on a cellular and molecular level that having a deficiency in water is going to somehow enhance the health benefits of a fast. Okay. So the answer to that is I don't recommend that. I recommend a little salt, little water, mineral water. If you want electrolytes that are unflavored, that's totally fine. So that would be my suggestion there. So let's see here. Someone said jokes. Someone said, do you put off vegetables for later in the eating window?
For later in the eating window. So, okay, you know what? I'll make this just really easy. When I break the fast, probably usually around 6 o'clock is when I break the fast. 5:30, I'm sipping on filtered water, a little warm filtered water with apple cider vinegar or fresh lemon juice, or anything to kind of calm down my stomach, or some bone broth if we have it, to get my body prepared for digestion. And I'm just calm, I'm breathing, and then I'll start the meal, I'll make a regular meal. I think by sitting down and dining, I'm not really so worried about when to eat what. I just make a plate of food, because again, you want to make sure you're not picking and just grabbing things out of the cupboards in the fridge when you're breaking a fast. You want to know what you're eating and have a plan. And so I'll make a plate of food, and then quite commonly I'll have like a little bit of a dessert after, which is very nutrient dense as well. Well, it's not like what you think. It's like dark chocolate.
With grass-fed whey protein.
Grass-fed whey protein. It's berries. It's just a little this, little that. It's a little cup of. You don't need a huge bowl to get the benefits of all these goodies, right? So you're not like breaking or taking your body necessarily out of ketosis. It's all these things your body loves and needs. Even adding like bee pollen. It's not something that someone who's ketogenic would ever want to do, but I sprinkle it on there, and I have fresh ground spices for my desserts as well, like the cardamom, etc. So
there's a lot of different things. Yeah. So I think the key thing to keep in mind here too is if you're only doing one meal a day, you want to make sure that like you're making that meal count and you're adding in the different things like Deanna's talking about. The micronutrients really matter. Mm-hmm. So I think this is another kind of beneficial thing about this is like you're like, okay, well, I'm only eating once, so I need to be careful, one, that I don't overdo it, don't underdo it, and then have the right things in there. So I think it's a new way to kind of learn how to eat and to maximize that. So vegetables are important, and obviously we eat them. But in January, February, when it was snowing here in Seattle and we were not growing any vegetables, did we have much salad?
No. We didn't
have many vegetables, guys. So I think the thing is now in July, August, that's going to be totally different. Like we're going to have probably a lot less meat, more eggs, because the chickens are going crazy, laying a lot of eggs. We're going to have a lot of greens. So, but again, this is just us personally. Please, if this doesn't fit in with your finances or your ideology, you don't have to do this. But I think, humans are our enzymatic secretion, our GI levels of various hormones and digestive factors, things like that change with the season. And there's been some animal model studies where literally they've given mice oranges and orange juice out of season, and they saw a change in the amount of fat that they were storing. So it sounds totally wacky, crazy, but it makes sense.
Money. We've been saving money eating in season, trying to be more sustainable. We're trying still to be much more sustainable than we already are.
What are we going to do with our pigs?
You guys, I don't know.
We have 2 pigs, and Deanna I love the little pigs.
Deanna wants to what? Look, we have neighbors that have been looking over our fence and getting us in trouble for having pigs. So I don't know. You let me know. What should we do? They're our pets. Like, do we eat them? Do we give them away? Like, what do you think? What's the most humane thing to do? It's just such a bummer.
Yeah, they're so cute.
They're
Pigs
so
are
cute.
amazing.
Like, we don't want to eat them, but what do you do?
Hey there from Montreal. We have quite a few Canadians coming on. So Jenny says, when is the guide coming? So you've done a cyclical carbohydrate guide.
I'm working so hard on it. It's coming soon, Jenny. I'm working hard. It's going to be really good. Really, really good. I'm not leaving anything out, okay? It's going to be unfiltered, amazing. Mike's going to add some workout stuff too. It's going to rock, so stay tuned. But I'm hoping within the next couple weeks.
Weeks? What the hell?
Oh, it's going to be that good. I'm not rushing this thing, right? So
I thought you were going to say hours, weeks.
Yeah. Okay. So but really, I'm really excited about this because it has helped us, and it's realistic. It's doable. It's gonna be great. So.
Well, and that's kind of unique about the 1 meal a day approach or just intermittent fasting is if you're exercising, and that's the caveat. If you're an exercising person, then you can afford to have more carbohydrates.
Right.
And because you are going for extended periods of time without food, you can still maintain ketosis. And so I think that's an important thing. Mm-hmm. It just comes down to personalizing this and custom tailoring it, like custom tailoring anything, your finances, your life insurance, whatever, to figure out, okay, well, how much exertion, physical exertion am I doing in a given day during that exercise session or sessions? How much weight do I want to lose? What's my blood sugar regulation? And that will help you to figure out, okay, well, I can have this much carbohydrates or whatever. So, personally, I've been having more carbohydrates as of late, not every single day, but cycling this. And what would you say? Well, I'm definitely stronger. Libido's better.
You're definitely strong. You do much better on more carbs than I do. And by the way, regarding the guide, it's not going to be like strictly OMAD, you guys. So there's going to be some of that in there, but there's going to be 2 sections of it. One's going to be for like weight loss for those who want that and need that. And then there's going to be the maintenance. So I'm going to have various windows in there. I'm playing around with windows that have worked for us. I'm just kind of doing something super strict right now just to see what happens. Okay. But I think moving forward in the near future, I'm likely going to extend, like have some days that are like longer feeding windows than others, but it's going to be a very doable plan. It's not going to be completely crazy. So, just something that works for most people, something you can tailor to yourself.
Yeah, so we're getting some questions on the pigs. So let's see here. Someone says, Jenny says, eat them. It's more sustainable.
I know. That's what I say. But
Scarlett says, pigs are dirty animals. I don't know how you keep them. I don't know if you've seen chickens or turkeys, but they're just as dirty, if not more than pigs. Scarlett. Jenny says, can't wait. Let's see. So Joshua has a great point. Joshua, you're always on. I love your support, buddy.
And
Joshua,
Scarlett, I was saying I don't have fillers under my eyes. I'm trying to hide that because with the fasting, I've lost weight. So my cheekbones are kind of sticking out a bit. And I'm trying to cover with concealer my hollow eyes. And I'm hoping that my growth hormone starts to build that collagen. So that was what I was saying earlier. I don't get fillers underneath my eyes. So.
Good question. So Joshua says, a lot of us are detached from our food, so it's not easy raising it. Yeah. So what kind of pigs are they? They're Kuni and Juliana. So they're a little bit smaller. So we did name them. Dimitri's the bigger of the two, and then Alfred. And so I have a video that I'm working on editing where it was snowy here in Seattle, and I took him on a hike with the dogs, and it was like, you guys are going to dig it. And gals, it's hilarious. You would never think that you could take pigs on a hike.
You didn't show that one yet? That was hilarious.
I know. I just haven't cut it. So it's really entertaining watching them, but I'm like, I need to have a story behind it. I took the pigs into the woods. Like, who gives a crap? I want to be able to just share a little behind the scenes of what it's like to raise a pig and then kind of think about, okay, eventually I'm going to have to kill this thing. And that kind of is tough, because Alfred, he's the smaller of the two pigs. He's the cutest little thing, man. So I can grab his front foot. I mean, and keep in mind, he's like 180 pounds. He's bigger, about my size. And I'll grab his front foot and he'll roll on his side, and then I just rub his belly, and he's just like, and he's snorting, and he's literally
starts like this.
He starts drooling, and it is the cutest damn thing in the world, guys. But we're getting off topic here. So a lot of people are asking about collagen, and so we are coming out. MYOXCIENCE is coming out with a really cool collagen product. It's not yet available. We've been beta testing a few different ones, so we don't have one quite yet that we can confidently recommend, but this one has some patented ingredients known to enhance different collagen peptide synthesis within the body and provide collagen. So that's coming. But no, we haven't leveraged this as a family, haven't done a lot of collagen over the years because we do a lot of bone broth. And so one of my very first videos on this channel back in 2014 was how to make bone broth. We use pig's feet, we use fish heads, we use all kinds of different bones. And when we buy meat, what do we try to do when we buy the meat, if we do buy it? We get bone in. So we always get lamb, beef, whatever, with the bone, right? Occasionally we'll get grass-fed beef that's just like ground, things like that. But we always try to cook with bone in because it basically, I hate to use the word kills two birds with one stone, but effectively, if you slow cook bone in meat, then you take the meat out after you cook it, keep it going, you have bone broth as well. So instead of like cooking bone broth extra, you can get it from, the meat drippings and everything like that and the bones in there. So
it's so good too.
Dude, tastes amazing. So there's I've seen this question come up quite a bit. What have you noticed in your heart rate variability and resting heart rate doing this approach? So I've noticed some changes personally. Heart rate variability jacks up, dreams jack up, deep sleep after day 3 fasting, sleep becomes a challenge for me.
Oh yeah,
because I get it like stimulated.
Yeah. HRV definitely like high 70s lately. Sleep scores better, but I'm trying to get into bed by 8:45.
Deanna is way good about her.
But I'm ready by then, and I think I'm just being a creature of habit. I'm so used to just the Groundhog Day thing. I get up at like 5:45, so I have to make sure I'm getting enough sleep. So 8:45.
So a question come in from Fitness Evolution Rocky River says, any suggestions on collagen when you're allergic to type 2 collagen? Get it from whole food. I highly doubt you're allergic to whole food derived collagen. So that would be my answer to that question. To whom it may concern says, can you be successfully vegetarian? I think if you're very smart about it and intentional about it, yes. But I think it's tough. It's going to be totally challenging. We've done stints like August of 2017, and I was promoting, the idea that you can be keto and vegetarian at the same time. This was before a bunch of books came out recently about, being a vegan, ketogenic diet person. When we were doing a lot of your veggie wraps and things like that, salads, it's definitely doable. Long term, I don't know that it's optimal. It's like, can you do a dry water fast and where you have nothing? Yeah, you can do it. Is it optimal? Probably not.
Depends on your environment too, really. Where are you from?
Your activity, your genes. I mean, there's so much.
So many factors. It's such a personal thing.
So a question came in from DJ. He says, new to this channel, are you guys carnivore or keto? We try not to stick ourselves in any, identity-based diet, right? Because if you asked us if we're carnivore in January, we basically look carnivore.
Right.
But in July and August, we're eating berries, we're having less meat, we're having a lot of eggs, it's totally different. So what we try to do is eat like our ancestors would eat and live off our land. And so again, this is like just what we do. We're not saying that you should do this, that it's even achievable for you.
We can because we're in a great state where we are so blessed to have these things available to us in Washington. So it might be different where you are.
Totally. Like if you're in Santa Fe, New Mexico or something like that, it's gonna be hard to grow some of the things that we grow in the
or Alaska.
Or who knows where, right? So this is just what we personally do. But again, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily the right way to do it, but it just kind of makes sense logically for us. And so that's why we do it. And plus we save money because I don't like going to the grocery store and paying a ton of money when I know how inexpensive it is to grow it, whether it's a chicken, whether it's a turkey, all that sort of stuff. So to answer your question, we generally low carb, generally keto, more carnivore-like in the winter. So that's it. I mean, I wish.
And some days we're completely plant-based. It's just
we try to cycle protein
variable, and
it doesn't mean we don't dislike protein.
No, we love it. We love it. Just some nights we're like, we don't need it, or we don't have it in the fridge, so we're not gonna eat it.
Yeah.
So.
Or we've had a lot of it lately, so we're like, dude, I'm kind of sick of protein, right? So it's. I think that's kind of the message. Like how we started off this whole video was like, have flexibility and don't be so dogmatic into things. Like, okay, you're carnivore, great. But if you go one day without meat, you're not going to fall apart.
Sometimes we'll just have eggs because we have chickens, or we'll have some well-cut salmon because our neighbors give us salmon. I mean, it just really depends.
Yeah.
Just a variety.
I think that's good. I think like having that flexibility is cool. So friends, really, really appreciate you all being here. I'm getting a notification saying that the bandwidth is crap right now.
Oh.
But what usually happens, again, peak time is tough, 5 o'clock. We might have to do this earlier next time. But very, very grateful and honored that you're all here. If you like having Deanna on, please hit that like button. Let us know in the comments as well. And we would love to have you as part of the Autophagy Enhancer Masterclass, which starts tomorrow. Guys, how many hours have I been spending putting this thing together?
A lot.
Lot of research that's gone into this, guys. I want to separate the bro science that's percolating all throughout the internet with the actual real science that the strategies that you need to make, the ways you can optimize your life so as to enhance and garner the most health benefits from autophagy. So the hormones, the molecular mediators, sort of fasting protocols, what exercise, what phytonutrients, all these different factors, how they can optimize your whole body, but help you to optimize autophagy, specifically including the circadian rhythm system. Did you know that autophagy oscillates on a circadian basis, just like our testosterone, just like cortisol, just like melatonin?
I'm surprised. I mean, our bodies are so
Here's a pop quiz, guys. Here's a pop quiz. For a free bottle of our monoglyceride-based fish oil, IFOS certified. The answer, type in the comment bar right now. I'm going to ship this out to you guys. At what point during the day is autophagy at its greatest level?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Don't answer it.
I don't know it.
All right, guys.
I don't know the answer, Mike.
So I'm watching the chat bar here below. So the person that gets this right, I'm going to send you a free bottle of 5-star IFOS certified fish oil. This means it's third-party tested every single lot for heavy metals, for oxidation products, for peroxides, residual solvents. So either the feed is done. Greg says noon. Greg, you're close.
Night.
CJ says, good to see you again, Deanna.
Thank
you guys
you.
rock.
Thank you.
DJ Fairway, you're really close during sleep. 6 a.m. So you know what? So Sam, send me an email, Mike at High Intensity Health. Sam Kessoff, you said 6 a.m. So now here's the thing about this, guys, is we actually don't know in humans, but we have extrapolated I didn't actually personally do the clinical studies, but I've been reading some of the circadian biology research in the context of autophagy. And it turns out that autophagy signaling is most amplified at the peak time when, say, leptin would be at its lowest point, which would be kind of the late morning. So it'd be like as we're rising. So now, why would that be? Well, that would be hopefully because we had an early dinner, we took a walk after dinner, we slept not on a full stomach. And so as we're sleeping, we've burned through, it's been 10, 12 hours. So we've burned through some of the stored nutrients. Yeah. And guess what? Our cells are like, oh crap, we need some nutrition. We need to enhance autophagy. And that's what one of the mechanisms that autophagy offers to the body is to help to not only, so check this out. This is kind of news, I think, for Deanna.
It is, I'm listening.
So glycogen breakdown is called, guess what? Glycophagy. So check it out. So we think, oh, glycogen breakdown. How does it just mythically just happen? It happens via autophagy. No. What about lipid breakdown? What do you think it's called? Lipophagy. So lipids are literally destructed via lipophagy via, it's basically autophagy subset. So it's crazy, right? We have all these different autophagy.
Everything's in sync, right?
It's all working together. It's not just for longevity, it's for helping our body in states of nutrient deprivation, which would happen after a long sleep. Suffice it to say that you also ate early. So a lot of people eat right before they go to bed. Yeah. And what do we know epidemiologically? People that eat meals before bed tend to, guess what? Weigh more. They're more overweight.
Mm-hmm. Well, so if you're going to do a feeding window, that's 2 hours. Don't do it right before bed.
Yeah. So eat early, sleep early.
Right.
We talked about that many times on the podcast. This was a mantra in cycling. People in the Tour de France, they do their racing, they eat to recover, and they go to bed. So anyway, Sam, definitely send me an email. Kathleen Smith, thanks for being here. Gosh, you're on all these fast reps. It's in the house. What's up, buddy? So guys, it's been 24 hours since we last ate. We're both getting hungry. I'm sure you are. Thanks for tuning in on a Metabolic Monday. Hope to see you tomorrow in the Autophagy Enhancer Masterclass. Links are below this video. And if you're watching the replay, you've made it this far. Super grateful that you're all here. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Have some great podcasts coming to you. And we're going to sign off. Any parting words of advice?
If you guys want if you want any advice on what to eat, foods, etc., you can follow me on Instagram.
Yes.
dr.dmuscle. I know it's cheesy, but Mike said he wanted me to change it.
If you don't like Deanna Muscle, blame me because it was my idea.
We thought it was funny, you guys.
It was Real Food Lab, so it's Deanna Muscle. It kind of rhymes.
But I'm doing a lot on my stories now, just kind of showing you guys like how to break it fast, what we're eating, just giving an idea of like the nutrient density, micronutrients, all that stuff. So
some behind the scenes stuff, some piggy stuff. We have some pigs in there.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to see the pig? Do you want to see the pig video with them hiking in the woods? I think it's freaking hilarious. All right.
Do it.
So I'm saving this. All right, guys. Very much appreciate you tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.